Picture this. You're scrolling through your monthly credit card statement, just going about your day, and suddenly, your heart completely drops. You spot a charge you definitely did not make. Or, maybe it's for an amount that is just completely wrong. Look, it is incredibly stressful to feel like your hard-earned money has just vanished into thin air. But here's the good news. You have rights. Getting your money back is entirely possible if you know exactly what to do. So, in this explainer today, we're going to walk through a clear, step-by-step roadmap to disputing a charge with Citi and getting your funds back.
Finding a rogue charge can instantly trigger a moment of sheer panic. It's totally natural to feel frustrated or even a little violated. But I really want to reassure you right out of the gate, understanding Citi's dispute infrastructure is the absolute key to resolving this calmly. The banking system actually has an entire framework built to protect you in exactly this scenario. So take a deep breath. There's no need to panic. We just need to follow the proper steps.
Here is the exact journey we're going to take today. First, preparing your dispute claim. Second, how to contact Citi safely. Third, the dispute resolution process. Fourth, tips for a successful dispute. And finally, number 5, the next steps if you happen to get denied.
All right, part 1, preparing your dispute claim.
Okay, the absolute first thing you need to do before you even think about picking up the phone or opening the app is to categorize the exact nature of your problem. You have to clearly draw a line between a dispute and fraud, because banks handle these two things very differently. A dispute is essentially a billing headache. This means things like duplicate charges, being billed the wrong amount, or ordering something online and it arriving damaged or maybe never arriving at all. Fraud, on the other hand, means your card was stolen or totally compromised and you're seeing a charge from a merchant you have literally never interacted with. If it's fraud, Citi actually needs to cancel and reissue your card immediately to protect you. So figuring out which bucket your issue falls into is your crucial first step.
Now here is a technical rule from Citi that trips up so many people. You cannot dispute a charge while it is still pending. You absolutely must wait for the charge to fully post to your account. Why? Well, pending charges are essentially just pre-authorizations. They often drop off entirely or change amounts on their own. Citi's system literally will not let you initiate a formal dispute until that specific transaction is finalized and officially posted.
Moving right along to part 2, how to contact Citi safely. You're ready to reach out, but we need to pause for a second and heavily emphasize a massive issue right now. Customer service phone scams are everywhere. To contact Citi safely, you have to use secure, verified channels. The safest methods are logging directly into the secure Citi mobile app, using the Citibank online portal, or just calling the number on the back of your physical credit card. Also, if Citi is proactively trying to warn you about potential fraud via text message, keep in mind those official early warning texts will only come from verified short codes like 95686 or 69248. They are never going to text you from a standard 10-digit phone number.
And this brings up the biggest danger out there, caller ID spoofing. I actually want to read a quote directly from our source material because it is just so stark. It says, because scammers can easily fake caller ID information, you should never trust the number displayed on your screen. Scammers will literally make your phone screen say Citibank to trick you. If you get an unexpected call, just hang up. Dial the official number on the back of your card. And remember, Citi is never going to call you and ask you to read a one-time PIN back to them, and they definitely won't ask for your full social security number on an inbound call. Guard your data.
Now, if you bypass the digital routes, say you're dealing with a corporate or a government card, you might actually run into some old-school paperwork. This is what the official Citi Commercial Cards Transaction Dispute Form looks like. It's definitely good to know what the official mail-in documentation requires. You'll need specific transaction details and merchant information. But honestly, for most everyday consumers, you're going to be doing this digitally, which is way faster.
Which brings us to part 3, the dispute resolution process.
Once you hit submit on your claim, what actually happens behind the curtain? Let's demystify this internal investigation and look at the legal protections you have. Your rights are protected under a federal law called the Fair Credit Billing Act, or FCBA, and it comes with a very strict timeline. First up, you have 60 days from when the statement was sent to you to report the disputed charge, so do not drag your feet. Once you file, Citi has a 30-day window to acknowledge your dispute in writing. And finally, the law gives Citi a strict 90-day maximum limit to investigate and completely resolve the issue.
At this point, you're probably wondering, wait, do I have to pay this fake charge while I wait 90 days for them to figure it out? Thankfully, the answer is usually no, thanks to something called a provisional credit. This is essentially a temporary credit applied to your account during an active dispute investigation. It offsets the bad charge, so you aren't carrying that financial burden while Citi investigates the merchant. It's basically a placeholder that gives you peace of mind while the wheels of the banking system turn.
Let's move to part 4, tips for a successful dispute.
So how do we make absolutely sure that provisional credit becomes permanent? Let's go over some best practices that will dramatically increase your chances of winning. The fastest and most efficient method to start your dispute is definitely using Citi's online interface. It's basically a wizard that walks you right through the process. You just log in, go to your account activity, locate and select the specific posted charge, and literally just click the Dispute Charge button. This is vastly superior to mailing in a letter simply because the system actively prompts you with the exact questions it needs answered based on the type of dispute you're filing. But before you click that button, here is a major pro tip. Always try to contact the merchant first. Citi is actually going to ask you if you've done this. A lot of times, a merchant will just refund you directly, which is infinitely faster than a bank dispute. If they don't play ball, you need concrete evidence to upload into the Citi system. Save your return shipping tracking info, keep those time-stamped cancellation emails for subscription services, and attach clear, readable receipts. Look, hard evidence wins disputes. Period. And here's why that evidence matters so much. You have to understand that Citi is essentially acting as the mediator here. They take your amazing evidence and present it directly to the merchant. Under credit card association rules, that merchant typically has 45 days to respond. They can either look at your evidence and accept the chargeback, meaning you win right then and there, or they can contest it with their own proof. This is exactly why your evidence needs to be totally ironclad.
Finally, Part 5. Next steps if denied.
What happens if things just don't go your way? Say the merchant contests successfully, that provisional credit gets yanked back, and your dispute is denied. Let's walk through exactly what to do. First off, do not give up immediately if you know you are in the right. Review the written denial notice closely to see exactly why the merchant won. Second, exercise your legal right to request the specific documents Citi relied upon to deny the claim. You are literally allowed to see their homework. Third, gather new evidence and submit an appeal. But heads up, you have to act fast. You generally have a very strict 10-day deadline from receiving the notice to file that appeal.
Now, if your internal appeal fails, but you are absolutely 100% certain you are being wronged by the merchant and the bank, you still have a powerful final option. You can escalate the matter externally by filing a formal complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB. Doing this creates a regulatory record and practically forces the bank's higher-up compliance team to take a final, very serious look at your case.
Just a quick heads up before we wrap things up today. This explainer is meant for educational awareness, just to help you understand how the banking system works behind the scenes. Everyone's financial situation is unique, so you absolutely must consult Citi directly for advice regarding your specific account and your specific circumstances.
Which leaves me with one final, pretty provocative question for you to take away today. When was the last time you really scrutinized your credit card statement line by line? Scammers and billing errors rely on you being too busy to pay attention. So go log into your account today, review your charges, and take vigilant action to protect your finances. You now have the exact roadmap you need to dispute any issues you might find. Stay focused, stay vigilant, and keep learning.